Howdy folks, welcome back to the workbench. I was going to stream this and it turns out the first time you hit stream you have to wait 24 hours, so I'm just going to make a quick video. We're going to be taking apart a hard drive. So I've got this Seagate. It was recertified when I got it. It's a 2 terabyte Barracuda. You can see I've written failing on it. So I've just got a giant box of hard drives, and sometimes I take them apart because they have magnets in them. Magnets are pretty handy. Here's some magnets from some other hard drives I've taken apart. So you can see the magnet part right there on the metal, and they're quite strong. You want to be careful with these. You can pinch yourself. If you can get the leverage, you can get them apart. So anyway, let's take apart a hard drive. I'll probably zoom in a bit. All right, my lighting setup is a little less than ideal, so I've got this propped up so it doesn't glare quite so bad. But we've got a circuit board on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and take that off, and that is a T6 Torx. So we're just going to take those screws out. And most of these have contact pads. It just connects up with the motor. So there's a motor here that spins the platter. And you can see there's 3 leads coming off of that. That'll go over here to usually just a contact. Okay, my headset microphone I was using died halfway through, so we're back. We're just taking out screws here. I'm back on the Snowball, blue Snowball microphone, which works pretty well, but it's super sensitive, so it picks up all the background noise. So you'll probably hear little things, and you'll hear the fan on the computer. I'm still getting the workbench area set up for better recording, so it's going to be a little rough here until we get things completely sorted out. Like, my lighting is not the greatest. It works really well for working at the workbench, but it's just not set up for recording. So you can see here there's some contacts, and those just make contact with the circuit board right here. And there you go. There's the circuit board. I don't know that I need anything off of there, so I'll probably just pitch that. And then there's also a little set of contact pads here that goes into the head mechanism. And it almost looks like pads for an integrated circuit. Come on, focus, camera, focus. Doesn't want to focus, but anyway, there's pads there. Really all I want out of here is the magnet, just because magnets are fun, and sometimes they're handy. So this is a T9 on this particular hard drive. Seagate, it's old Seagate Barracuda. There is a date code here. It looks like it's probably the 46th week of 2014, if I had to guess. So, it's old. It served its purpose. Got a nice shot of my hand there. It's some great YouTube content. I'm learning. My other main channel is video games. The whole workbench thing, recording that is new to me. Alright, one more screw. And this should just pop off. A lot of times they're sealed. You only want to keep the dirt out. If you just pry on there, it should come off. And if you were wanting to recover data on this or something, you would want a clean room. But we don't care. Let me get a screwdriver. Alright, we're bringing out the big guns. Oh, you know what? There may be... Yeah, it feels like there's a screw under the sticker. There we go. That's why it's fighting me. So obviously the warranty would be void doing this, but again, we don't care. It's junk. I'll take this apart and I'll break down just the chassis, and I'll throw that in my big box of aluminum. There we go. You can see around inside here it's got like a rubberized seal. keep all the dirt out. And if you haven't seen inside of a hard drive before, it's got these platters here that spin. And there's probably 2 or 3 of those. That has a magnetic coating on there, and these little heads come out. And they actually float across there when it's spinning. And then they read the magnetic track. And there you have it. Alright, let's see if these are also a T6 on the inside here. This is an interesting design. It has almost a cover here around the platters. Usually the platters are just kind of sitting there. You gotta remember I'm filming. And again, my lighting setup is set up for good viewing, but there's a lot of glare when you're trying to record. Yeah, so it's kind of like a cover. I wonder if that's for airflow. It's just a smooth metal thing. Is that ferrous? I've got a magnet right here. That's non-ferrous, so it may be aluminum. And then the other thing we need to get out of here is this head mechanism. And this right here is usually where the magnet will be, because there's a coil on the head mechanism and it uses the fixed magnet to move. So there we go. That's pretty stout. It's hard to tell in the video, but pretty stout magnet. And then there's another one here on the bottom. So you can see this coil here. If I get the glare off of it, this coil sits between the 2 magnets. So based on, how much it energizes that coil, it'll pivot that head, and that's how it moves the head. It needs super strong magnets to be really precise. So go ahead and pop these screws out. Basically what I do is I take everything I can off of the aluminum chassis, and then I have a big box where I'm just throwing the aluminum chassis in. I may recycle that someday. Pop all the screws out. And I can throw these screws in my miscellaneous screw drawer. I've got a lifetime supply of hard drive screws. Alright, sometimes these just pop up. It kind of looks like that has a hex head though. Let me grab, is it that size? No, that's a little too big. There we go. What's that, a T20? T15. So far we've used a T9, a T6, and a T15. I should be able to pull this all out of here. Or not. It feels like that's loose. I don't need to be careful with this because I'm not saving it. Can't tell if it's hooked into the platter or what the holdup is here. Pop that off. That's the connector through to the circuit board. Alright, let me wrestle this out of here and we'll take a look. Okay, I found the problem. There's actually a captured screw on the back here under some foil. So it was just spinning. That is also a T9. For those of you playing along at home. There we go. And then on these, there's usually a nice little bearing. So this is a precision bearing. My camera really doesn't like to focus. To look into that. Anyway, that's that whole screw is on a nice little bearing. So I'll throw that in my miscellaneous drawer in case you want to use that on a project someday. And then we're just down to the little bitty stuff. And we got to get this platter out of here. Is that a T9? Nope. It almost looks like it's too big for the T6. Yeah, that's probably a 7 or an 8. Just go down through the sizes here. Here we go. Is that a 7? That is an 8. So I got one oddball. They couldn't make that a T9. Kind of surprising. Usually you want to minimize the sizes for easier production. Got a little rubber piece off there. Then we just got this stuff here, and that is back to the T6, it looks like. Yep, so let me take all these out, and then we should be able to pull the platters off. Whole pile of screws there, and we'll just dump those off. And then this part comes up. And these are just neat. I don't know why I find them so fascinating. They're just neat little machined aluminum parts. I've been keeping some of those. Might make an art installation someday. And we can just work this platter off of there, or just dump it into your hand. Yeah, there's another one of these. I wonder, that must be for like higher speed airflow. And this has a coating on it that's really smooth. That's interesting. So here is just the platter. I don't know too much about these. I know they're, they have some kind of magnetic material on them, obviously, but they're very like brittle sounding, like metal but not metal. They make good mirrors too. See, there's my camera. Hi. And then there's these spacers. Again, just nice little machined aluminum parts. So this was a 2-platter drive. And then the motor here is kind of built into the housing. I think you have to break apart this epoxy, and I've got several other chassis where I need to take that off. And then there's a little air filter here. There's a little tiny hole on the back, and then this, I've taken these apart before. They're usually filled with some kind of filter material. So I can pry that off, but this is basically just a chunk of aluminum now. A chunk of machined aluminum. A couple little parts on it. So I will throw that in the box. Here's our 2 magnets. Add those to the collection. I can do that without pinching my finger off. And these work pretty well if you want to put a screw through there and put it on the wall, and you can just hang your tools on them. Works pretty well for that. All kinds of uses for magnets. Come here, you. Anyway, I've got a whole pile of those drives. I was going to stream just taking them apart and chatting, but we can't stream quite yet on the channel. So I thought I'd make a quick video about it. There's the inside of a hard drive. Thanks as always for watching, folks. And I'll catch you in the next one.